if I shoot regular AP at the lower hull like that, it'll bounce off.
Nothing.
But if I shoot APCR, I can actually pen that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? MrAweshum here. Today, we're going back in time. We're talking about the Panzer III. It's been a long time since I've done any sort of tank review or any kind of in-depth review at all. So, let's learn about the Panzer III. First off, this is most likely the very first tank of the medium category that you will be purchasing and playing. You'll start off with your light tank, you'll grind up till you get to your medium tank, and then you'll be probably curious to check out the medium tank. So Panzer III, you unlock it 4th grade armor assault. You get it really fast. It does cost 92,000 credits, so it's on the cheap end. Armor specs for the tank, it's your tier 1 medium tank. They're not going to be that good, but 50 millimeters of armor, basically all around, front, upper, front, lower. The rear is 50, which is pretty interesting. Even the mantlet's 50. So it does have decent armor, but as far as a tier 1 medium tank goes, it doesn't have enough armor to, say, deflect against stuff like bazookas or 75 millimeter shells. If you're getting hit by 2 centimeter shells, then yeah, sure, you'll be able to deflect them. But definitely can't count on your armor when you're playing the Panzer III. So what are the good things about the Panzer III? Well, it's a very cheap tank. It's in the top right. You see there's a couple tanks here. These are the medium tanks and how much they cost. So the Panzer III falls in there right around the middle low pack. For a tier 1 tank, you see the M3 Lee's 100 credits, followed by you got T28 90 credits, M3 Lee 100. So basically the same. And then Panzer III's in there with 118. So those 3 tier 1 tanks, basically all the same cost. Very cheap, 100 credits on average. We can just say that. Next to that, you've got how much each round costs. AP, you're only talking 5 credits. APCR 11 credits. 10 credits on the HE. Extremely cheap. As far as ammo goes, like, you don't even have to worry about the cost of the tank itself. It's a really cheap tank, which means you're going to be making money with it. Doesn't matter what you do with the tank. Going into a little bit more specifics now, you've got obviously the APCR and the high explosive rounds. You start off with the AP rounds, and you'll notice that the damage between the AP and the APCR is there's a huge difference in just the minimum damage that you can dish out with the tank shell. So you're definitely going to want to get the APCR as soon as possible. You're talking, just according to the chart alone, I don't know if these values, I don't know how accurate these values are, but you're looking at, that's 90 damage that you're gaining just on the minimum, and then an extra 50 on the maximum. So a huge potential upgrade there with the AVCR, along with even more penetration, more velocity. So yeah, you definitely want to get those APCRs as soon as you can with this little guy. So that basically covers the basic of the tank. It's fairly decent. Just it's your standard tier 1 basic tank, and cheap, really super cheap. First tank you'll get, and when you start upgrading your ammo, you're definitely gonna see a huge improvement with the tank. Let's move on to another slide here. We're talking about the tanks that you'll be fighting up against when you're gonna be playing the Panzer III, and every single tank has different armor values. So when you come up against each of these tanks, you're gonna be wanting to you want to know where I can shoot this tank. Now, you'll see here, these are the other medium tank destroyers. Tank destroyers generally have very weak armor, so the Panzer III is going to do very good against tank destroyers. And tank destroyers also have less hit points, which means the Panzer III is going to be doing even better against these, because the Panzer III damage output is not as good because it only has the 50mm cannon. So against tank destroyers, it'll actually do pretty good. So you see here, Wolverine, top left, it's basically all green. The only thing you want to avoid is the mantlet there on the turret. Everything else, like, just it's all green. Hit the front of the Wolverine, side turret, sides, it's all good. The Hellcat there, it's all green. Don't even worry about aiming too much. And now every single tank typically has like some weird angle that you can, bounce off of, but don't even worry. When it comes to the Hellcat, it's just not an issue. SC-76, same thing as Hellcat, no issue there. Basically all green there. It's paper. The only tank you'll actually struggle against would be the Su-85, just because it's got a lot of armor up front. So as far as Su-85 goes, you want side shots. You want to hit them in the gas tank there. You can see in the back there. That's a weak spot. The Commander Cupola, even though it's a small, it is a weak spot. Other than that, you want to aim for the front, just the cheeks of the mantlet there where the gun is, and even the lower plate. You will, because it's yellow, it means that you can pen it, just not every single time. But that is your best chance for taking out the Su-85. So let's roll on to another slide here. And these are the medium tanks. Now this is what you're probably mostly going to be facing against. These are the other tier 1 tanks, and a lot of people are still going to be playing the tier 1 tanks so that they can grind into their tier 2 and tier 3. So as far as tier 1s go, Panzer III does very well against all of them. You can see here, M3 Lee, it's basically all green. Just avoid shooting the gun of it. If you don't shoot the gun, you're good. You'll pen them anytime. The Russian T-28, it's all green. Panzer III has no issue penning any parts of it. And for Sherman, you can pen the entire front plate there. Just pretty much same with the Lee. Avoid shooting the gun mantlet. That's a no-no. You're not gonna have huge luck shooting that. But you've got a giant front armor that you can easily pen. So just there you go. Like, you'll be able to take the Sherman out. Now when it comes to the T-34-76, you'll have a lot more problems, since you'll notice that the front, it's got the lower plate there, like the underplate. It's definitely don't want to be shooting that. You're not going to pen it. The front armor of the T-34 also has a pretty nasty slope on it with a bit of armor. You will be able to pen it, just not all the time. There's a gun mount, which is a flat weak point. It's fairly small though, so it's not necessarily the best thing to be shooting at. In this case, one of the best things you could be shooting at is just directly at the guy's gun. You see the guy's gun, you shoot it, and you'll have no issues penning. So that covers the tier 1s. Let's check out another slide. So now this is where the game starts to get rough on your little Panzer III. Like, these are the two big daddy tanks that you're going to be fighting against, and when you come up against either of these tanks, there's probably going to be a veteran guy driving it. So he's going to know where to shoot you, or he's going to know where to be looking for you, and all these things. So you want to make every single shot count against a player that's going to be in one of these tanks. So let's look at the Easy A Sherman. Side armor, not an issue for the Panzer III. Commander Cupola, not an issue for the Panzer III. Mantlet, don't even bother with it. It's just, you're not going to be able to pen that. And then you've got the lower plate don't even bother with that. It's way too much to pen as well. The only chance you got against the Easy 8 is that top plate there, which it's still going to be very hard to pen that top plate. There's a chance to pen it. It's just going to be very hard. So as far as the Easy 8 goes, it's going to be a tough battle. Commander Cupola, side shots are your best thing that you can do. Hopefully you can flank an Easy 8 driver. The T-34-85. A little bit different story here. You've got green as far as the side goes, but then you don't want to be shooting the upper armor if you can. You've got yellow points there, and you don't want to be shooting the turret. The turret is very hard to pen. It's very armored on the T-34-85. The front armor of the 85 here, you can pen it. It's pennable. It's probably about like say 50% pennable, maybe higher than that. You can pen it, just not necessarily every single time. There's a gun port also attached to the front armor. It's got higher chances of penning it, and it's a decent part of the tank to be shooting at. There's also a gas tank that's available. If you're looking at the tank straight on, there's the gas tank at the back, which is great for penning if you want to pen every single shot on that. And the Commander Cupola, again, you're gonna have no issues with that. So as far as these big daddy tanks goes, like the T-34-85, you'll have a lot easier time dealing with. The Easy 8 Sherman, yes, it's gonna be your toughest guy to fight.
Thing or like anything with no population.
You can't get no Russian games. Who are you blind to?
Like, there's not enough like American players that play Soviet factions that play war.
I just killed a Hellcat with an HE shell. How do you like
Yeah,
them
there's
apples,
still a
Rob?
Wolverine over. Yeah, spotted. He's like inside town.
0 point. He's just a Soviet guy who plays on the opposite side of the world. He's in a different time zone.
And we don't have anyone defending the point. We don't have anyone defending. We don't want anyone to defend.
No, of course not. Why would you?
We don't want anyone to defend, man.
Man. Isn't Neo with you?
No.
Got a chassis in the butt here. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Alex is a warrior.
I am a warrior. Hey, he's throwing chicken at me. How
That's why you're a
dare
warrior.
you, sir?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, I'm gonna drive in there, but I'm gonna watch my ass at the same time.
There's a chappie on the other side during this water. He's kind of chilling right now.
Wait, are you in that? Oh yeah, you are in there. Okay,
In the
good.
garage. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's a guy in there, but...
Four days, wow.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of people over there then.
Oh, how you like that? Snipe them through the bush. Got an assist on that one.
Plays better after watching 10. Good doing. Having a grand old luck with these binoculars. Where's this guy come from?
Hey, 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 hey. Good thing my Panzer III reloads faster than your bazooka.
People in our tank spawn.
That's enough tanking for me. I got one tank. Time to close out the line.
Oh, I missed that first shot, but good thing
God
that
damn
reloads
it!
quick.
Missed that first.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
It's a good thing my tank can turn fast. Oh, we bounced the shot. Oh shit. Oh. Ah, it's an M3 Lee. Okay, okay. Let's play it smart then. Oh shit! Hey, what? That's a weak spot. What you talking about? Man, I only bounce off that lower plate there because of the anglage on that hill. What? There's an M3 Lee right in front of me! What the? Three shots to fire. That is really good damage. That was all high RNG.
Alright, so let's check out the Panzer III pros and cons. Now there's quite a few here, so I'll try to cover these as efficient as possible. So let's start with the pros here. What is good about this tank? So, cheap to buy. Looking at 92,000 credits to buy your very first medium tank. I consider that's pretty cheap. Because, you know, if you compare it to a like a Panther or something, N tier, that thing's gonna be, you know, around 200,000 credits, a little bit more, like double the price. So it gets expensive. Very cheap upkeep. It's only 118 credits per spawn, so that's cheap. It's a more regular tank. So unlike the multi-turreted T-28 and the M3 Lee, Panzer III doesn't feel like it requires an extra crew member to fend off against infantry. The T-28 doesn't have a coax, and the M3 can only face forward. So that makes the Panzer III the best starter tier tank as for infantry support. As far as infantry support goes, this tank's a lot better than the other faction's starting medium tank goes. It's got a faster reload compared to all other mediums. Because it's got the lower caliber gun, it can reload faster. It means you have more shots on target. You can afford to miss an HE shot on an infantry, and you'll likely be able to get a follow-up shot on whatever it is that you're trying to shoot at, just because it's a little bit faster. It's got good turret traverse speed, which is pretty good with this. You know, along with it, it's got a fast reload. If you can turn your turret fast and you got a fast reload, then you're going to be getting a lot more shots on target and where you want them to land. It's got a very accurate coax machine gun, unlike the Panther. The machine gun on the Panzer III is actually really good. It's got decent shell velocity, better than that of tier 2 opposing tanks. So the shell velocity of the 50mm is actually really good. So just keep that in mind too. It reloads fast and shell velocity is good. It's a silent hunter. The Panther is very loud and has distinctive sound, whereas the Panzer III has a generic, sounds like a 37mm gun sound. The light tanks have a simple movement sound, and as a bonus, lower profile with the Panzer III. So you'll be able to just sneak up on people, maybe hide it behind a rock or something that you normally wouldn't be able to do if you're driving a higher profile tank. You just feel a bit more sneaky with it. It's very easy to achieve since you only need the Bronze 4 armor assault. You get that pretty dang fast, and by the time you get your rank 4, you probably have like 90,000 credits sitting around that you can just afford to buy it right away. It's got a good zoom sight picture because it's a triangle. It's really easy to get used to. If you die while you're driving a Panzer III, let's say you're popping your head out, you're going through the forest, and some dude picking berries pops your head. Alright, so now you're dead. What happens? Well, if they do kill you and steal your tank, you don't really have to worry a whole lot, because most of the people have AT, or someone's gonna be driving around in a Panther, and they're just gonna be able to clean up your problem. So destroying a Panzer III isn't gonna be that big of a problem. It's gonna be annoying, sure, but it's not gonna be that big of a problem for your team to take care of. You have 99 shots. That's a lot of ammo. You pretty much can sling ammo for days with this thing. Like, you can go on a huge killing streak. You don't have to worry about ammo as far as Panzer III goes. It's got decent acceleration, decent elevation and depression. All these are very good for just going around the map, shooting tanks at various angles, shooting weak spots, all that good stuff. And it does have rare, random, bouncy spots, meaning that sometimes the back end of the tank and turret, as well as the front lip, have had rare chances to deflect incoming attacks, which, you know, that's pretty cool. Even if it's only 50 millimeters of armor, there is a very small chance that it actually can deflect something, so that's good. Alright, it's time to check out the cons now for the Panzer III. So, let's start off here. First of all, as far as speed goes, it does feel pretty slow for a medium. It's got poor reverse speed. As far as armor goes, there's virtually no armor. It's just, the armor is just way too weak as far as mediums go. Since even light tanks with the 37mm can pen the front, which also includes the Greyhounds, should also be able to pen it. It's got a small gun, which means it's going to have low pen and small HE splash, as well as low RNG damage. The regular AP shells are really bad. Sometimes they can't even pen certain places on tanks with weak armor, so you want to get ABCR as soon as possible. 2-hit kill infantry cars doesn't happen often. Only really occurs when using regular AP. Since Germany loves their medium tanks, there's just medium tanks everywhere, but typically people will play their Panthers and end up trading well. It's got a low sight zoom, but at least it's better than the M4 Sherman. So it's got something going for it. It's still pretty bad sight zoom. Factory paint scheme. Hopefully, maybe in the future there'll be some camos for it. It's not a huge con, but hey, these tanks, they need love too. Can't fight tier 3 mediums, at least not from the front. At least not directly. If it's like a one-on-one engagement and you see each other and you just start going, slinging shells, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time. Since the EZ8 only has the one viable weak spot, which is a very small target as it is. You're just outclassed when you gotta fight other tier 3 mediums. You have to play smart with this tank. And because it's the first medium tank you get, you're probably not gonna have the most experience with it. Or, maybe you're like a veteran, but you're playing this tank because it's your budget tank. Either way, you gotta play smart. You gotta flank, you gotta aim for weak spots. You gotta just choose good moments to engage tier 3s, get them in the side, get them, get their weak spots. You gotta play smart with it. So, that covers the PZ3. Again, it's been a long time since I've reviewed any tank, so I apologize if the review is lengthy. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If there's anything you want to see reviewed, or you got suggestions for new videos, let me know in the comments. And until next time, have a great one.